The Great Pyramid of Giza. It is the only ancient wonder of the world still standing. Located just south and to the west of Cairo, it sits atop a large, vast plateau and still guarded by the Great Sphinx of Egypt. The pyramid itself was commissioned by the pharaoh Khufu. We know he reigned for over 20 years, some say as long as 63. The ancient historian Herodotus places it right at 50 years. Now, the complex is surrounded, it is not a standalone building, but it is part of a vast complex. The buildings around it are tombs, temples, and satellite pyramids, and they were built for members of the royal family, the nobility, and the priesthood. Upon their deaths, they were indeed entombed there. Now, contrary to popular opinion, no slave labor was used for the construction of this pyramid. On the contrary, Egyptians themselves built this pyramid, and during the late summer, early fall months, the Nile would flood, and that allowed villagers and farmers time to gather in Giza and help construct that large structure. Now, it's important to note that they were not coerced into doing so. They were indeed happy to do this. These farmers and local villagers believed this would ensure their own afterlife and would also benefit the future and prosperity of Egypt as a whole. They were indeed willing workers, a labor force working for ample rations for the benefit of man, king, and country. Now, there are indeed significant features other than the extremely large blocks that comprise the pyramid. There are three known chambers in the Great Pyramid. The base chamber sits on the bedrock and supports the rest of the pyramid, while the upper two chambers are called the queens and the kings. Those chambers were used for the pharaoh and his queen and the immediate family. They were entombed inside there upon their deaths. Now, what is this massive structure made of, and how large is it? Well, it stands over 454 feet high, equivalent to a 48 floor modern day skyscraper, comprised of over 2.5 million blocks of limestone, each one weighing from 2 tons and up to 70 tons. This is a massive structure. The base itself covers over 13 acres, and the space it takes up, it comprises over 90 million cubic feet of space. How could someone from the ancient times build such a structure? Well, it was not done by magic. It was done by manual labor. These huge stones would be placed on sleds and dragged and pulled by humans and not beasts of burdens. These stones were hewn from quarries near and far. The quarries at great distance from the pyramid, the stones would be placed onto barges, sailed as close to the pyramid as possible, and from there loaded onto the sleds and pulled to the pyramid. Now, to get the blocks on top of the pyramid, much ramps were built, and indeed these stones were dragged up those ramps, and a series of pulleys would help place the stones into their proper location. How does the Great Pyramid fare in today's Egypt? Well, the Egyptians take great pride in their heritage, and no doubt they also rely very heavily on the tourist dollars. They're very important in today's Egypt sagging economy. It's interesting to note that during the reign of the Muslim Brotherhood just a few short years ago, a strict Islamist sect called the Salafists, they wanted to destroy the pyramids of Giza to keep the people from worshiping ancient gods. Indeed, they were trying to mimic the Taliban in Afghanistan, who had blown up ancient Buddhist statues made of stone. That failed. The Great Pyramid of Giza still stands, and it will be standing 1,000 years from now, too. Merry Christmas, folks. Thank you.